Welcome to the Tunelanian podcast, the Nigerian theatre witnesses to history. We started last week by bringing you part of the departure program for legendary Jimi Solanke at the Wole Soyinka Arts Theatre. Today we'll continue with the main interview that was conducted with him by Professor Segun Ojewi. You'll recall that Professor Segun Ojewi himself had been featured as a witness on episodes of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History on this podcast months back. And he went to town dealing a very deep interview with Jimi Solanke. Today we'll bring you some of the recollections of this witness. Come along with us.
We want to trace, through your own narrative, personal narrative, professional narrative. We'll also be touching on journeying through the progression of theatre in Nigeria, because you embody that journey. So let's start from, what was your first, that you can recollect, your first contact with theatre of performance in any form that you remember of significance?
Yes. If we are really talking about performance, and performance, as far as I'm concerned, in both genre of music and drama. In fact, I had been taught when I got into the School of Drama that drama is the mother of music, dance, and drama itself. So I had been performing as a musician for about 4 or 5 years before I was introduced to the Mbari Club in Ibadan. When a child has not seen anything that is more vibrant than what he has been doing, he will keep saying, oh, what I know, what I have seen, what I've had, because all along the way I've been going to festivals in my hometown. I've been having the opportunity of coming out to sing and dance and play the akpepe with the Oro group, because the Oro in my hometown, very strong festival. And it's only men that will come out. The women will be locked up inside and they'll be cooking. And each time when you are tired of dancing and singing and shouting, you will go back and women will feed you. Every house you get into, there will be enough food. I mean, a lot of masquerades, a lot of things that women should not see will be out. And all that, I've gone through all that. I've gone through masquerading. I've gone through doing oroku. I've earned prizes in school, not in academic areas, but in having been able to do the end of the year activities, parents and teachers day. I will sing, I will dance, and I will win prizes in those places, but not in 2+2. So in 1960, I already moved from the school, passed out of school, and I went to Ibadan. I started meeting a lot of people, a lot of bands. They thought I could sing. Well, I started singing. Maybe because they gave me the opportunity, I'm now a singer too. I sang with Orlando Julius, sang with Dio Conta, sang with Victor Faulkner, sang with Rex Williams, sang with Zeb Phillips at the old Central Hotel in Adamasingba in Ibadan. But I ran into my friends, Yomi Obeleye, Bratunji Ilano, Jimmy Johnson, Wale Ogunyemi, in some of my outings. I met them, and they said, in Bari Ramlolola, they're going to Imbari tomorrow. Now Wabel, they showed me West End restaurant. At the back of that place, Mr. Haddad, one Lebanese owner of the place, allowed that big space at the back with vine trees and everything. You can just pluck, beautiful place. And I said, And because I could sing one or two songs that the Baba Haddad could understand, he was already giving me shish kebab to take away. And we started being interested in come in, wait, but you turn right, Koto Wale. This is new. That's how I got into drama at Imbari Club, Ibadan, with little place. And then they were bringing big traveling theaters to perform there. And I would sit down and watch. And I would sit down and watch Oga Yemili Jadu, Oga Wole Soyinka, Oga Segun Olushola, Oga Christopher Kigbo on his piano. And they were impacting on me a lot of things I didn't know that it would be useful for me till the end of my days. Then came the time that they said the School of Drama was going to be initiated. The School of Drama was initiated by the Institute of African Studies. It was a special program for the arts theater, which used to be the performing space for all university plays. The traveling theater in those days, they were hard-working team of theater practitioners. The Hubert Ogunde, the Duro Ladipo, the Kola Ogunmola, there is this other one that I nearly remember his name now. Oyadejobi in Osogbo. Some of them even came to my school to perform. The way I was seeing them, they were theater in its totality, because food, living style were on the road. They would cook their food, they would package, they would do their commercials before the shows, they would go on top of their bole kajas, and bole kajas were those Ford or Bedford trucks that were built, that the chassis is long enough for people to build space at the back with planks and seats in those plank bodies, and we called it bole kaja, and they would paint it with their names, Ogunde Theater, Kola Ogunmola Theater, and would you believe it? In my understanding of them, families were part of that theater troops. Even children were part of the trips. In between shows, people will nurse their babies, and they were total theater. They reminded me of what I have read about the Alarijo Theater in the era of the Alaafin Oyo. Alaafin Oyo was the very first person who used theater to entertain the DO or any resident officer coming to visit him in Oyo. He would bring the Ajangila. Alaafin would bring Ajangila. They were the first theater I heard of. And then these other theaters reminded me of them when I started seeing them they came to our school, and then any available hall or any available location will be perfect enough for their performances, because you can see their performance, how much, 5 pence, penny, 2 penny, and you won't believe it. They were the true theater, the foundation of theater. And that is the reason why I said earlier on that I saw them coming to perform at Mbari. And if you had class as any performer, I saw at Mbari, I saw Pete Seeger, I saw that great lady, Othelia, what was her name? They all came to Mbari. So then, with all these people coming in, and we were judging them as, yes, these were, because immediately after I saw Duro Ladinkwo at Mbari, he was taken to Germany with Obakoso. And maybe a year after, he was taken to the Commonwealth Arts Festival where he won laurels. And that's not all with all these traveling theaters. When we came as the first set of the School of Drama, 1962-63, and we started, an ordinary singer I was. But now I am in a place where even singing was more useful to you as an actor. All the dances were more useful to you as an actor, because if you are rigid as an actor, you will worth nothing in front of audiences. So when we got to the School of Drama, I can't remember, we were about 25 or thereabout that were selected after we sat down for an examination and interviews and auditions and etc. We were chosen. I remember Brother Tunji Yolano, Ẹ̀gbọ́n Wálé Ògúnyẹmí, Yomi Obileye, Yewande Akibo, Betty Okotie, George, one young lady, George, and some other people from other parts of Nigeria. I can't remember their name now, so I don't try to spoil their names, like Prince Will or some, okay. My experience at the School of Drama, I thought I knew it all. But it was there they finally taught me how to use voice, how to communicate, how to project, how to, because we had very good lecturers, instructors. The head of the school then was Jeffrey Axworthy. I remember Martin Barnham. I remember Auntie Showumi. I remember Adedeji, Professor Adedeji. I remember, but the man behind it all, who is the anchor of it all, I believe was between Wole Soyinka and Ulibaya, who worked hand in hand with Michael Crowder, the director of the Institute of African Studies, because that's where Peggy Harper was, that's where Robin Horton was, that's where Frank Speed was, who, film specialist, documented everything we did in those days. I was taught dance. I knew how to use my fingers. I knew how to raise fingers. I knew how to. Dance to Peggy Harper must be perfect. I was taught dance. That's why I would dance until the last breath of me. I was taught voice elocution by Auntie Fumilayo Showumi. Yes, you elocute. And you see, the experience I got that then, I never knew it would stretch me this long. Because immediately I got there and I discovered that, oh, this is acting. I took it as if it was the last thing I needed to know, the last thing I needed to do, the last thing that I was studying, rehearsing 4 plays at the same time. And then we were even working on television series, Orisun theater series, and Orisun plays, and some, at the same time, 1960 masks. We are part of the people being used in there because it was a so it's a continuous, complete workshop in the performing arts. And I thank God I was given that opportunity. I was there. Some of us wanted to go into studying and taking further steps. The small certificate I had from there, and because I had the opportunity of brushing myself up, I continued. I was in armchair theater. I was on the series of armchair theater. On television, WNTV, WMB as the first television in Africa. I was on the series of Orisun Theater. And when all that was going on, I was developing a lot of interest in theater because it was just that opportunity. And at the end of the day, around 1969, I was already cooked.
So by 1969, we're talking about how many years that you have spent in theater so far?
1962 to 1969.
Those years, we're talking about 1962, 2 years after independence.
Yes.
And then 69, you were already at Ibadan, and now you were performing as an actor.
Yes.
What was the theater, like in those years, in terms of the general populace, because theater is based in culture. So what was the interaction with the Nigerian culture and the departing British culture, if it was departing?
Yes. Majority of the plays that we performed on television, on stage, 90% of them were freshly written, and they were based on the culture of our land. Because we had Auntie Sulu Sofola then teaching us the Anyocha culture through her plays. I played lead roles in about 3 or 4 of her plays. King Gemene, Enemy of this and all that. I played this, and culture in those days was brought to the level of culture. I mean, theater in those days was brought to the level of its culture anywhere in the world. If it was the play, you will get there, family, everybody, you would have taken your tickets, you would sit down and lights out. It was like a ritual.
Was it national?
It was,
passion?
yes. It was a ritual. It was, people go out to watch plays with so much passion. And it was in Ibadan that majority of the plays of my brother Femi Oshofison, Chatini and the Song and all that, Kole Omotosho, started writing in those days. And number one of them all, who could beat anyone to writing scripts, Kolo Foruke. That's my closest playwright. He writes characters for me to play, and that's late Wale Ogunyemi. He would write the character, fixing it in the mind that Jimi would do this, Jimi would do this, Jimi would do that. The vow, be mighty, be mine, the scheme, etc., etc., Ojiya, and the original theater and all its practitioners became popular. Let me tell you how I moved. Because I was working. All I wanted to do was just be on stage. Going back to go and take a certificate beyond the one I've taken, the diploma I've taken, till date, I think is a waste of time, because if you know, when you hear the sound of God say, go, 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 and you working hard and you are going as God is talking to you, that's what has got me to the position of me sitting down and talking about theater and drama or performance in this country today.
I'm sure you must be excited, as I am, about bringing the great witness, even though now he's gone to be with his maker, Jimi Solanke, who had so many parts, and without any doubt, for a long time, was the leading male actor in Nigeria. Today, we've given you a teaser. We'll continue with the interview that Professor Segun Ojewi had with him on the next week's episode of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History. Until then, it's bye from me.